Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock miner, Brian Johnson. I'm making professional trading simple. Today we were flat on the day, really, literally, just straight across flat on the day. I was telling my subscribers that this is the day. This is one of those days where the markets are telling you, quit worrying about money. Go spend some time with your family. It just moves straight sideways. There really isn't much to do. There's a few equity plays maybe here and there to pull a couple bucks out of. But once again, as we get closer to Thanksgiving, the markets will probably do a little bit more of this. You might see a little volatility in the mornings. That tends to be the case, and then people go, "Yeah, that's enough," and then they go home. So, and that'll happen a little bit less and less as the week rolls on. Thursday we're closed. Friday is an abbreviated trading day. Keep that all in mind. I wanted to start with this. Remember, I talk about the news all the time. I love this particular news article. Stocks trimmed because what happened is obviously the stocks moved down, and then they came out with some reports, and then the stocks kind of moved back up during the course of the day. Well, the news needs a reason for why the stocks are moving up and down. It just can't be because there's no one around and there's no one trading. It has to be a reason. So here's the reason today. U.S. stocks trimmed declines on Tuesday, with the S&P 500 turning positive as minutes showing Federal Reserve officials are confident the recovery is sustainable, which offset an earlier report that the economy grew at a slower than expected pace. So in other words, someone came to them probably afterwards and said, "Why did you say that the economy is growing at a slower than expected pace? That's terrible wording, terrible wording. You need to come out and say stuff like, we're confident the recovery is sustainable." There we go. See, kind of the same thing, different words. One puts a positive spin on it, one puts a negative spin on it. Anyway, I had to bring this to your attention because this is the stuff you see in the news reports all the time, especially during Fed talks. They don't exactly say precisely what they mean, but they don't lie either. They we kind of change it a little bit. So I thought this was really funny. This was a great example of that, how earlier on it was all about the economy's growing at a slower than expected pace, and they really expected unemployment to stay at elevated levels. And that was what they said earlier. Well, then later they came out and they don't really talk about elevated levels on unemployment, and they mentioned that they're confident that the recovery is totally sustainable. So anyway, thought I'd show you that within the news market. I love this. This was a good one. This was a good one. All right, back to the markets. All right, so here we see the move, and I really think I can make this a pretty short video today for you guys, so you can get on with your lives. So let's just look at it quickly. Here we are in this channel we've been watching on the Dow. Today, straight sideways. We didn't go anywhere. We were down a total of 17 points, which is nothing in the markets. Kind of right back up to where we started. Waiting for a break, either back up to the top of this channel or to the bottom and below this channel for entries to the long or the short side. If we look at it here, once again, we're touching the upper side of this channel, and once again, it's holding very nicely as resistance at this point in time. Now, yes, we've been up here a lot, and yes, that does actually show some bullish activity, but no different than what we saw back here. About 5 days back here, about 5 days back here-ish, about 5 days back here-ish towards the top. It's when they get to the bottom that it usually bounces right away. Here we're seeing it about 5, 6, maybe 5, 6, 7 days up here. It's still holding. That's what I'm really ultimately watching in the grand picture here, is that this upper channel line is still holding the prices. So if we continue to move down, we're still looking for a break below 10,200 or a break above 10,500 on the Dow. Here's the NASDAQ breaking out of this trend line, kind of not tumbling, but falling back today. Down 6 points today, which was more than the other indices. So it was the weakest of all of them, if you want to call this weak. 0.3% is really nothing. Basically back to break even, sitting right below here. It's a 50-period moving average with heavy resistance above it, but any break above 1800, 1815, and above 1815, another good long entry. So same entries and same stuff as we talked about yesterday. Still in this rising wedge, sitting right on top of support. That is still bullish if you're looking at it in the bigger picture until we break below those levels. There's no shorting opportunities there. NDX on a weekly, still got a couple days left, but little teeny tiny black candle. You can see nothing going on the last couple days. Certainly nothing that warrants a lot of trading. SPX getting above, pulling back into support, breaking below it today, but coming right back up above it and holding again. This support area up here is holding very nicely. You have the 20, you have the 50, you have this lower support. So we're still looking at prices to the upside until it breaks down below this area here. I would say below 1100, then to 1095, 1090, and all the levels we've been talking about before. But wait for breaks of these levels before you get into any kind of trades. I'd be out by the end of the day. Just make these day trades and be done with it. We don't know what's going to happen the rest of the week, and it's really too risky to be holding for too awful long, especially now that we're coming into Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday back on for an abbreviated time, and then an entire weekend to rest and wait. Also expect retail numbers, to start picking up here come next week. Obviously, if you're the owner of a business and someone comes to you with a camera and says, "How are things going on Black Friday?" What are you going to say? "Oh, it's awful. Yeah, nobody's here. You probably want to go someplace else to buy your stuff because nobody's shopping here." No. Of course you're going to take that time to go, "Oh man, we had 1 million people lined up outside. Everybody in here is buying. They're all coming through with big boxes of stuff in their hands. You need to get down here right now and start spending your money because, man, this is the place to be right now." Ultimately, that's better marketing for your company, for your business. That's what you're going to want to do. And that usually puts a little boost because people believe it and go, "Yeah, man, that's awesome." And so they usually buy the market up in that case. I would be expecting a little bit of that maybe come late this week, maybe Friday into early Monday, Tuesday time frame. Be watching for those type of reports to come out. I would expect that most all of them will be positive. Anything over and above what they've been seeing lately has got to be good news for them. So if they get 100 people through the door when they're used to having 1,000 people through the door, it's probably a big deal. So watch those reports coming forward, which should actually add a little bit more bullishness to the market. So we still have to be neutral to bullish because that's where the charts are leading us right now. SPX on a daily, watch this channel. Looking for a break above this channel or ultimately way back down into this area is where we really want to get. That's a little ways off though, I think. SPX on a weekly. Maybe we'll see this by the end of the week. I don't know. There just isn't really a whole lot of trading. So maybe put in a small little doji here again towards the end of this week. It's, like I said, Tuesday. I'm not real worried about weekly quite yet. VIX on it daily, down 3%. This really took a dive today compared to the markets being down as well. So here we go. Divergence. Market's down. VIX is down. Could have something to do with the Christmas season. Raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens. Maybe we talked about that. Could be that people are getting all happy about the holiday season and fear is starting to come out of the market. All getting ready to eat lots of turkey. Right back down to the dotted line. That's our first line. Below that takes us back to this big fat green line of support on the VIX. Apple on a 60-minute.